guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Becky. I'm a pelvic floor physical therapist, and it's my passion to help you understand more about your body, especially with your pelvic health. So today we are going to talk about something a little bit different. This last year of becoming a mom and raising a newborn to now a toddling 1-year-old, overall, it's really been a great year of growth and change for me, and it's been such a privilege to be able to help my daughter become the tiny little girl that she is now, since she's no longer a baby. So I thought I would pass along some wisdom to you. Here are the top 14 things I learned in my first year of being a mom. Or at least the 14 I can think of. I don't think all my brain cells still work after having a baby. Number 1, and probably the most important, although I'll probably say that about a lot of them, is that my plans are not what's actually going to happen, right? I think, okay, so she woke up at this time, so she'll definitely go to take a nap at this time, and the nap will definitely be this long, and I know that she'll really like this food, and she just pooped, so there's no way she's gonna poop again today. It's all wrong. It's just all wrong. Motherhood is very humbling like that. Anytime you think you have an idea of what's gonna happen, it just doesn't, and it's fine. This next one, my mother-in-law shared with me when my daughter was just a few weeks old, and it has changed how I am as a human, not just a parent. So I obviously have a really great mother-in-law. And she said, there is more than one right way to parent. Especially in those early days, I'm looking for guidance. I'm asking anyone and everyone, how did you get her to take a pacifier? How did you get him to take a bottle? How did you do it without sleep? How do you do it? And it's great to get other people's input and thoughts, because there's no sense in recreating the wheel, right? But I would latch on to what someone else was doing. And if my daughter didn't do it, or if I didn't do it the way that this mom and child was, then I was obviously a failure. And that's just simply not true. There are so many ways to do it, and most of them are right. Number 3, this has been a major change for me. And I've learned the last year that slow living is good. We were raised in the best way possible. I have the best parents. But I did all the things. I did all the activities all through high school and college. I was involved in everything, and every minute of every day was jam-packed with stuff, and I thrived on it. And I don't think it's a bad thing, but now I'm just finding the beauty in the quality over the quantity, and really appreciating having time, slow down, because these moments are fleeting with having a little one, and it's been great to appreciate what's going on. This next one is very important, especially for those middle of the night diaper changes, but it's trying to set your environment up for success. So sure, it's having diapers in the diaper caddy filled, or having your water bottle next to you when you sit down to nurse. All of those, like, just setup things. Preparation is key, right? But it's also emotionally and mentally being prepared. Have I taken care of myself before I need to take care of a tiny human? And yeah, okay, you can't get all the sleep all the time right away, but did I have a snack? Did I take 5 minutes to myself? Did I shower? Those kinds of things. Setting your environment up for success so that you can give to someone else. This next one is vital for those early postpartum days. I've talked about it before, and I will not stop talking about it. I hurt myself in the first few weeks after having my daughter, and it's because we had guests come over, and I decided I needed to be a hostess, not a new mom who was like healing. Stop, rest, recover. You went through a major ordeal. You have to rest and recover. Be present, especially when you're with your baby. These tiny moments that you get with them, where they're laughing or crying or sleeping or whatever, they are precious, and they they just don't last long enough. I've learned, at least I try my best to keep the electronics put away while she's awake and just be with her. Um, and shouldn't we do that more with not babies, just with people? Going along that last point, it's modeling the behavior that I want her to see. I value a lot of things that maybe are lost arts. I really appreciate a home cooked meal. I value having a clean and tidy house. I want to not spend time on my screens. Um, just like trying my best to be the kind of good person that I think I can be. And so instead of doing all the cooking and cleaning and stuff when she's asleep, when it's easy, I try to actually do those things when she's awake. So she can see me doing the things that are so important to maintaining a healthy and happy family and household. And so, yeah, it could be easier just to do those things when she's asleep, but also I film these videos when she's asleep, so I have to take my time and use it differently. And it helps me be a better person too. And I think that's really a big goal of parenthood, is it makes you think about the kind of person that you are. This one is for those long nights or days when they're crying and you don't know what's wrong with them and it just won't end. You just have to remember your baby is a little person. They're a little human and they are so overwhelmed. Imagine if you were picked up by an alien spacecraft, plopped onto a totally different planet, and left to fend for yourself. You don't speak the language, you don't know what food there is to eat, the sun moves differently in the sky, you don't know when you're supposed to sleep. It would be terrible, just awful. And that's what it's like to be a baby. So as hard as it is to look at a screaming baby at 2 in the morning with empathy, deep somewhere in my brain, I have to remind myself all the time, she is a person and she needs me to help her figure this out. If I don't understand something, I'm going to ask someone for help, and them crying is their way of asking for help. Kind of on the same note, especially like for those long days and nights with crying, but even the good stuff, it's to remember that this moment will end, especially the moments that you aren't thriving in. They end. Just this 10 minutes of ear busting screaming. It does end, I promise. And it does not feel like it at the time, but it does end. You can make it through. Even if you have to ask for help, even if you have to not so gently pass the baby off to someone else, that's a way of it ending, but I promise it ends. Brains are weird. Social pressure is weird. You will latch on to at least one random thing to be anxious about. It's just going to happen. You will not be a cool cucumber all the time. You just won't. Why isn't she sleeping? Is she ever going to sleep? She doesn't take more than 20-minute naps. Is she ever going to sleep? Or if she misses a nap, then surely her brain's going to be ruined forever. No, she won't. No, they won't. They will be okay. So I ended up getting help. I talked to a counselor and they gave me amazing advice. It was one of the best decisions I ever made. Still am a mom, I'm still a human. I get worried about things, but I now know how to keep a grip on it a little bit better. They are really resilient. They will always bounce back. They may be screaming one minute and then giggling the next, and I don't understand, but they're fine. Or fall down 4 stairs. Oops. 2 minutes later, totally fine. They are so resilient. We do not need to wrap them up in bubble wrap. Mentally and emotionally, physically, all of it. They are so resilient. I read this in a really great book. I think it's something like How to Talk to Little Kids So They'll Listen, and something like that. I'll link it. Amazing book, by the way. But what I learned from that is, besides a million other things, is you as a parent get another chance. if you did not handle that last episode of middle of the night crying as well as what you would have liked, guess what? It's probably going to happen again. Lucky you. You get another chance to make it right and make it better. Kind of like the last point, they're really resilient. They also don't remember. So you get to try it again. You got mad at them because they picked up the plate and threw all the food on the floor. You got mad that time? Don't worry, they will throw food again. You get to try again. This one's going to be a little weird. I'd love to hear what your experience has been, but especially the first 6 months when my daughter was exclusively breastfed. I, in my head, saw her as the same person as me. But especially because, like, everything she was consuming was from me still. When she was in my belly, I gave her everything she needed. When she was breastfeeding, I gave her everything she needed. And I've slowly been having to separate myself from her, which I think, being still a novice parent, is probably the hardest part of parenting, is knowing that you have to let go. And so you get little ways to practice along the way, like when she started eating solids, or like when she started to learn how to walk. That was a good reminder of, oh, she can go places on her own. She doesn't need me to get everywhere she wants to go. So yeah, you made them, but they also aren't you, but they are you. It's very confusing. And lastly, I think this is number 14. This is what I really have to latch onto when I feel like I'm having a hard time. And it's that billions of people have done this before. There have been billions of humans, billions and billions of humans that have had billions of parents, and they've done it. They did it. They raised a human. And a lot of them are probably less qualified than I am. I mean, not that I have a certificate that says definitely a good mom. But you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot that goes into being a good parent, and there's lots of ways to be a good parent. So what would you have added to this list? Let me know down below. It has been just a joy to be a mom, even with the moments that aren't quite as glamorous. But I would do it over and over again. Thanks for coming. We'll see you next time. Bye.